Welcome to the Plastic Fantastic podcast, brought to you by Mr. Adrian Richards and myself, Alison Telfer. Adrian and I go back many years having worked in this industry. Adrian specialising in all things to do with cosmetic, plastic and breast surgery, and myself all things to do with cosmetic, non-surgical treatments. We're going on a journey through this podcast. I think I'm secretly trying to find out who to get my best facelift from, and Adrian, who knows, but we're going on a journey to speak and interview and interrogate the most fantastic practitioners, doctors, dentists, nurses and business people, all those who've been touched by our industry. We hope you enjoy the show.
So Alison and I are absolutely delighted. This is our first dual podcast, isn't it, Al?
Yeah, it certainly is. So we're hoping it goes well.
And who are we talking to today?
We are probably talking to the celebrity couple, I would say, within the industry. So we've got Martin Kinsella and Hanna. Hanna, are you still going under your maiden name, or are you?
No, I've changed it over to Kinsella. I mean, there's a few documents I still need to switch over, but I figured Kinsella was a bit easier to say.
Probably easier for when you're making a restaurant reservation or bookings and things.
Exactly. I don't have to spell it out 50 times anymore. So for that, I'm grateful.
So Hanna, so we obviously know that Martin is a doctor, a dentist and everything, but you're too a dentist, is that right?
That's right, yeah. I have a dental practice, mainly, it's a private dental practice, a cosmetic dental practice in St Helens. I did dentistry undergraduate, and then I did a postgraduate, and I did an MSc in prosthodontics. Like Martin, spent a lot of time studying.
Did you meet over in dental school?
We did, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We always
how old were you when you met, and how did you meet?
Well, I was in my first year, so I was 18, and Martin, because you were postgrad, weren't you? So you were older. How old are you?
I'd have been 25.
Yeah.
25, 26.
So what impressed you about him then?
Well, we always joke that we literally always used to make eyes at each other, like over in the clinic when we were doing phantom head, but nothing actually ever happened at uni, did it? We were just friends. And then it wasn't until 4 or 5 years later, after I graduated and obviously after Martin had graduated, that our paths crossed again. So yeah, nothing actually happened at uni.
And what happened when your path crossed again?
Well, do you know what? It was actually because I was sort of looking into getting into aesthetics. So I do a bit of aesthetics now. Obviously nowhere near the amount that Martin does, but I do a little bit of aesthetics. And it was actually because I contacted him to say, do you know anyone that can train me? And we always joke because at the time Martin used to train people, and he didn't train me. He pied me off, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't. I didn't train anyone here. I used to do a course abroad for a bit with someone else. So obviously through those people, I could then pass someone on. But I didn't have the facility or the setup to do it really all the time.
Yeah. So that was that, and then
I palmed her off basically.
He did.
She didn't take no for an answer, though, did she, Martin?
No, it didn't work. It didn't work.
Just kept coming back.
So when did you actually come together then as a couple?
Well, we sort of, obviously, that was when we got back in touch, was when I contacted you. And we went out for a couple of dinners or whatever, but I think you were sort of, you'd just come out of a relationship, hadn't you? So we sort of just left it as friends. And then a couple of years later, it was 2 years later, we bumped into each other in a restaurant in London, randomly.
It wasn't random.
Why was it random and why wasn't it random?
Well, I'd actually gone down to London to do a lip masterclass actually with Rick and Parrick. And I put a picture up of me and Ricky because we got on really well. So I put a picture up on Instagram, and Martin messaged me.
No, you messaged me, didn't you? She messaged me.
No,
this is not this is you're getting a slight spin on this story now. That's not how I remember it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he messaged me. He did. He said, "Oh, you're with my mate Ricky. Oh my God." Da, da, da. And then we ended up finding out that we were in London. but it was random. We bumped into each other randomly in a restaurant. So yeah, and then the rest is history.
I suspect Ricky had a hand in it.
Yeah.
No. Random. Things like that aren't random. I think Ricky Perret, he had a hand in that, yeah. And he because he turned up, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then we met up, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. And since
that was 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah, and since
Is that all? 3 years ago.
Have you only been together 3 years?
Yeah, proper. I mean, we've known each other for 11, 12 years, but we've actually been together, 3 years.
Wow.
That's why, Adrian, they seem to still really like each other. You've come across 3 years. Try when you've done 23 years or however many, Adrian.
We have our moments, honestly, we do.
Yeah, well, we do. We've been enjoying your TikToks, haven't we, Al?
Yeah, so I like it. So I can see, Hannah, you really enjoy the TikToks. Martin, how do you feel about those TikToks?
I like them now. I like them now. I didn't at first. I thought, what is this nonsense?
Well,
this ad-libbing of I thought it was just silly. I didn't understand it. And then, as we've started to do more, I find I've got enjoyment out of it. But what I like how much enjoyment other people get out of them. They love it.
Yeah.
I've never known anything like it.
Well, you should see Martin now. He's like the director. He's like, right, get this angle's wrong.
Well, we did one, right? We did one. It was the Men in Black one. It was the dance for the Men in Black. And Hannah was really wanted to do it. So we get dressed up. We obviously put the white shirts, the black ties, and the jackets on and things. Anyway, we're doing it, and she says to me, "Well, get changed and do it." And I said, "Listen, we need to practice that beforehand because that is difficult to do in one take. You're not going to be able to do that. That's a choreographed dance routine." Mm-hmm. So obviously we had to practice it a few times. We got changed into it. It took us, I'm not joking, 100 goes. Hannah kept saying to me, "This is the last one now." And I was like, hang on a minute. We're not got dressed up. Not got dressed up. Rehearsed this to hell. Dressed up and doing this. For you then to say, "Hang on, it's the last one." I said, "We'll do it until it's perfect, yeah? We are not going home. We are not finishing. We are not packing up until this is bang on."
That makes me feel so much better because when my daughter tries to get me to do them with her and I fluff it after about the third one, trying to do, who's that chap, the Tiger King or whatever it is, trying to do that one. Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Have you done that one?
We've done that one, yeah.
Anna's done that one, yeah.
Adrian, we should see you doing some TikToks, Adrian.
I have got a little video of me dancing actually. I'll send it to you one day. Anyway,
he's got all the kit in the background anyway, so
they're not real. They're just like wood. They're just like the fronts, like they in westerns, just cardboard.
Is that a picture you sat in front of?
Yeah. There's something straight back.
Picture.
Yeah. Okay, now your wedding, guys. So that looked like a nice event. We weren't invited, were we, Al?
No, we weren't. Maybe we'll be invited when they renew their vows.
Yeah. Tell us all about that.
The wedding. Do you know what? It was absolutely amazing. And I think the thing was for us, we really wanted sort of a fusion of the two cultures because obviously I'm Persian and Martin's, you're from a Catholic sort of background, and I think it was really important to us that we sort of, we included both of those ceremonies, but it was wonderful. I mean, we got married at the Anglican cathedral. It was actually, we got married in an Anglican cathedral, which was a bit naughty, wasn't it? But nevertheless, it was an amazing cathedral. We had a Catholic
blessing as well. So we got married by both, actually, the canon of the cathedral and the Catholic canon.
But you know what was really funny, guys? I mean, obviously, because I'm from an Iranian background, and going to church, is quite a new thing for me because I was sort of like, I've never been to church. What do you do in church? And because we went, didn't we? We went for a good 5-6 months. I was drinking the holy water and eating the body of Christ. I got so into it, and I made so many friends, and I thought, this is brilliant, And so I actually really enjoyed the whole process of, getting familiar with everything and all that. So it was brilliant. It was a real fusion mishmash, wasn't it?
It was funny to look on the congregation, and obviously on one side you've got all my family who church is second nature, and on the other side you've got
all
your
But I'll
Persian.
tell you something, all the Iranian women, their hats were like, woof. They were like, if there's any time I'm going to buy a hat, it's going to be for this. So they all look the part. They look amazing.
How did you feel, guys, being in second place to Harry and Meghan?
Oh, I know. Do you know what? It was so surreal when we opened that magazine and had a little look, because it was only afterwards that we obviously they weren't there at the wedding, because we were quite sort of adamant that we didn't want, like, OK and Hello. When you're in OK and Hello and they send their own photographers, they can take over. You know, they want certain poses, they want the bride in this, and they want, so they can be a little bit sort of overbearing on the day. So it was only afterwards that we actually gave Hello our own pictures. So that was really nice.
Yeah, there was no interfering with the day or anything like that from any third party like that. So that was great. We got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And part of your wedding planning was in the TV series, wasn't it? In the reality TV series.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? You know, I got so much grief from my friends, my family. My mum was like, "What are you doing putting this on TV? And this is a holy sacred day and you shouldn't be having this on TV, all over TV." So I think I was really conscious the whole time that I didn't want this to sort of intrude on, you know, my guests, or them feeling like, oh God, I'm going to end up being, I don't want to get, you know, I don't want to get drunk and have a good time and end up being all over on TV. So we put in place very sort of strict measures with the production company very early on. You know, we set out that we didn't want certain bits filmed, and a lot of the footage that you actually see on the Housewives is our videographers' footage, is the footage that we gave them. Again, it was so that we had control over what was actually being broadcast.
Yeah, we didn't want the guests, as Hannah says, to come in and feel like they couldn't let their hair down and have good fun. So we had quite a fine line to walk.
Yeah,
really, because we obviously needed to kind of let them know in a way that there was going to be some presence, but at the same time, but it wasn't filmed. Yeah. So, and we played it. I think we played it perfectly.
Well. Yeah.
And you'd never know. And when you looked around the wedding,
you never see their cameras anywhere.
You just thought that they were our camera crew. I remember thinking when we were about to do the speeches. I remember thinking, I've not seen anyone at any of the production for the show, and I just caught out the corner of my eye in the far distance, just right behind like one of the palm trees in the farmhouse. I could see the camera, and Steve, one of the friendly cameramen, he saw his face, he just gave me a wink and a nod. I thought, there you are.
Yeah,
so it really
I love the way you say that. I mean, I love the way you say, you know, it's a bit like having our own camera crew. Adrian, did you have a camera crew at your wedding? I didn't have
one. No, it was a long time ago. They didn't have many cameras there. They were the old-fashioned cameras. Now, whose family partied more in the evening?
Oh, do you know, well, the Iranians, that are my family, dancing is a massive part of our culture. So honestly, Adrian, you wouldn't believe it, before we'd even done the blooming speeches and we hadn't even eaten, everyone was up dancing. Yeah. But it was great because all your family loved it. Yeah, like they all got so involved.
We had to get doing the Irish dancing. Martin, were you all lot doing the Irish dancing?
No.
Everyone loved it. They all got really involved.
Had a good time. Yeah, we had to get them to sit down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the starters are here, eat the starter, and then they'd eat the starters, and then they'd be up dancing again. And you go and dance and be like, right, you need to sit down now. I've got more food coming. Yeah. So it's trying to, control it.
It was good fun.
How many guests did you have at the wedding?
It was 200. Yeah, it was 200. The thing was with the Palm House, which was the venue that we had the reception in, and we had the Persian ceremony in the Palm House. That was their capacity. I mean, if my mum and dad had their way, there'd be more than that. But I'm glad in a way that that was the capacity, and we had 200. Well, you've got a big family, and I've got lots of family and friends and stuff. So we both have.
Hannah, tell us about your heritage, your Persian heritage.
Yes. So my parents are both Iranian, but my dad, he moved to the UK when he was 15. So he's lived the majority of his life here. He moved with, we call her my Auntie Barbara, but we always call her, she's like my English grandma. because that's who he lived with, almost got fostered really. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't because there was any trouble in Iran at that time. Everything was fine there. It was just that Dad had this like urge that he wanted to live in the UK, and obviously the education and everything. So he moved here when he was 15, and then I think he was 25 and he went back to Iran. There was like a big family party, and my mum was 21, 22, and he met my mum, and then they both came over together. So they've actually lived here longer than they lived in Iran, really.
I like the story of what your dad says about when he was younger, his father and his grandfather, they worked in textiles in Iran, and he always heard them say, you know, that England has the best cotton, the best fabrics. England, he was always hearing this England, and that's what's sort of got his interest and his like obsession, if you like, with moving.
He was obsessed with the UK,
and moving to England. I like that.
Yeah.
Amazing. And guys, what's the future for you, Hannah? You know, with the reality, and you know.
Oh gosh, do you know what? I think this whole reality TV. I mean, I would never have thought in a million years that we'd end up on a TV show. It's crazy, really, and it really has been. You know, in Martin's speech at the wedding, he referred to it as a roller coaster. You know, we decided to get on this roller coaster, and there's been ups and downs with it, and you know, it's a really strange situation, you know, going out and getting recognised, people coming up to you and saying, oh hi, oh my god, Hannah, and you're like looking at them thinking, do I know you? Or it's just a really weird, the whole thing has been very, very strange. I'm happy that we did it, because I think it's a great experience, and you know, why not? You only live once, and we got to have a little taste of that, and it was good fun. But as far as the future's concerned, I mean, you know, me and Martin, we're both, as you obviously spoke to Martin, like, we're both very sort of ambitious and driven, and we've got a lot of sort of big plans and ideas. It's funny, we always in bed wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, we should do this. We've always got lots of weird and wonderful ideas.
We don't sleep very well
at all.
She wakes you up with the
we don't sleep.
Martin, do you think you've met your soulmate?
Oh
yeah.
And Hannah, do you think you've met your soulmate?
Definitely, yeah.
And what are your big plans then? You do, Alison, I know they're only 3 years in, but they do seem pretty tight, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I think, you know, it's an exciting time, and to have, like you say, Hannah, you know, to have these opportunities, you've got to. I guess the thing that I've dipped in on Real Housewives of all of them. You know, they're in the States, they're yours, and all this kind of thing. The ones in America, though, that I've watched, they tend to fuel quite a lot of arguments, and there tends to be quite a lot of discontent. Does that happen within yours, or is?
Well, I mean, the thing is with it, I think, you know, you've got 7 or 8 women that you know, you're on that show for a reason. You obviously fulfill what the producers and what the TV people are looking for, you know, and each one of us is opinionated, and each one of us is a strong personality. It's not for the faint-hearted, you know. If you've got to sit around that dinner table, and they might say things and do things that you think, you know, in real life, you might just never see that person again. You might think, oh God, she was horrible, and I'm never gonna talk to her again. Whereas with this, the next day you've got to go to an event and be like, oh, she's there. And so I think the thing is with the show, I think a lot of the times with the housewives, you know, they do get a bit of stick in the sense that always the drama put on, or are the producers fueling the fights and all this. Then the truth is, like Martin said before, it's not scripted. You know, it is you. It's how you react to certain situations. There's difficult situations, and some of those situations are semi-orchestrated, you know, and you sort of find yourself in a sticky situation, but it's how you deal with it, you know. And I suppose without some of the drama and some of the disagreements, there wouldn't be a show, you know.
And as a group of women, so you all do look after each other.
Oh, massively,
back,
massively.
You know, there is a sort of very much.
So you like a family. So
yeah.
Very, very dysfunctional.
That's what I was going to say. We all laugh. We all have all the housewives have a WhatsApp group, and we've actually called it the Wrong Uns of Cheshire, which is hilarious. And every time the wrong ones of Cheshire pops up, I'm always laughing because we always joke and we always say, you know, we are like a dysfunctional family. It's like a bunch of, you know, people that have sort of, you know, been friends or been put together, and we have our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, like Martin says, we always have each other's back.
Yeah. And are you like a family that you can criticise each other, but no one can criticise?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How much does it sort of impact? Do you feel like it impacts on your personal life though? So, and are there ever times when you kind of have to say, do you know what, enough, we need some space to ourselves, especially because you're working so much?
Yeah. I think, do you know what? I think that's a great question. And I think it was very much like that at the beginning. So when I had no experience of this, and I just literally like a lamb going into, you know, the thing, I had no experience. I didn't know what to expect. I thought that I was just going to go and make loads of friends, and I was quite naive, really, because you know, I should have perhaps done a bit more homework and watched more of the episodes, seen what it was like. But when we first started, it did used to sort of impact me a lot. You know, I'd think, oh, she doesn't like me, and I'd come on to Martin and go, oh, and you know, at the beginning, it was a bit tricky, and because obviously, like you say, I was working as well. There's a lot of pressure because, you know, you've got to put your housewife's hat on, and then you've got to put your dentist hat on, and then you've got to come home, and it was very hard. But now I think I've learned how to disjoint it. You know, if I have an argument with one of them or there's a disagreement, it's almost I can really sort of put it in a box until we're filming again, and then deal with it. So it's just how you cope with it.
When
really.
you first started it, I think things would affect her a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Certainly that would really come home with you.
Yeah.
And that then would have a knock-on effect on us in terms of, you know, just in terms of discussing it, and obviously the stress and me seeing Hannah maybe upset about something. But as time's gone on, that's just got easier and easier, you know.
Yeah.
You can just switch off from it a little bit more now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, you know, the first time you have a difficult patient, you know, the first time someone in clinic turns around and says, what was that, you know, and, you know, you get that feeling and you think, oh, what do I say, you know, and we've all had it. We've all had a difficult patient, and that's exactly what Housewives is. It's 8 difficult patients that you've got to deal with, you know. So it's the same sort of feeling, and you grow a thick skin as time goes on. The next time you have a difficult patient, you know exactly what to say, and you don't feel as nervous, and you don't get as scared or worried. So it's the same with this, really. It's just coping. It's finding the ways to, you know, tackle difficult situations.
Brilliant. Well, I've got 2 more questions before we finish. I know we're time limited with you guys, but one question is, Hannah, did you have any did you do any acting when you were younger?
It's funny actually, because I used to love drama at school and acting and that sort of thing, and I was in a local theatre group, and I did a bit of acting. I mean, this was when I was a lot younger, and I sort of said, I always used to say to my dad, I want to be an actress. And my dad was like, forget that pipe dream. There's millions of people that want to be an actress. You know, it was always a bit of a running joke, really. And we always laugh now with my dad. He's like, she's bloody ended up on TV. I mean,
she got her dream in the end, didn't she? She got she got it to do it as, you know, she's also done a professional side, and she's on as herself as a, you know, a professional character in one way.
So he thought when you became a dentist, you got rid of your actress, your drama dreams.
Yeah, well, that was it, really. But do you know what? At the end of the day, we're all clinicians, and you need good acting skills and good theatre skills when you're talking to clients and patients. It's the same thing. And I think those clinicians that do the best are the ones that are probably the best at communication skills and the best at acting and the best at drama. You know, if you peel it back, we all do a bit of drama, you know, we all do a bit of acting, and it's sort of, I suppose, it's helped me professionally, and I suppose it's helped me in this situation as well, because that's what it all boils down to. It's how you speak and how you talk to people and how you communicate.
But you've done a bit of drama in your time, Al.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I wanted to be an actress, and I actually got a place at drama school. And my mum said to me, no, go and get yourself a proper career first, and then you can. And it's exactly the same thing. I've got a question, if we can sneak in as well. Yeah. How do your patients react now when they come in knowing, you know, you're their dentist, and then they're seeing you on TV?
Oh, well, do you know what? Me and my practice manager sat down, and we were both like, how are we going to cope with this? You know, what's the reaction going to be? And I did get a bit stressed, thinking, God, you know, are people going to not come to me anymore, or will they look down on me, or will they think less of me? But I tell you something, they bloody love it. Like every single patient that comes in, I've now got to book in an extra 5 minutes to just talk to my patients about housewives, because they all absolutely love it. Like, you know,
that happened with me as well. What I noticed was that you'd end up, you see your patient as normal, do the treatment, and as they were leaving out the door, they'd sort of pop their head back in and go, "Can I just ask about such and such?" And then you'd be there for 3 minutes. This actually is good. This is really. People say to me, "Has it affected your business?" Yeah, it has. Yeah, it slowed me right down.
One last thing to add. I mean, the funniest thing is when people give you advice. You know, I was in Tesco getting myself just a sandwich for lunch, and the lady who worked there, just you can see them all looking and thinking, "Is that her? Is that her Real Housewives?" And anyway, she sort of like sheepishly came around the corner and she was like, as I was picking my sandwich up, and she was like, "You tell that Dawn Ward next time you see her that Tanya actually," you know, they give you advice, and you're like, "I will."
Yeah, I know. She was in a supermarket another time. In a supermarket another time, and one of them didn't. She looked at me and she went, "That you off Housewives, love?" Like that. Yeah. She went, "You want to tell that, Tanya?"
You want to tell them, you know, and they give you advice. It's really sweet, but it's almost as if, you know, I'm like, "Yeah, I will. I'll mention that next time."
What about the one when we got into London? We were in London for the weekend. We got into Houston, and obviously massive big station. You know, loads of people. We don't think anyone's going to know. Walks into Boots, checking out. The girl that there goes. What did she say? Something about the wedding.
I put some Paracetamol, and the thing is, when you go somewhere like around Manchester, you sort of expect it a little bit, but when you go to London, I mean, me and Martin think we're just incognito in London, like everyone else walking around. And I looked a state. My hair was like this, like tied up. I had my hoodie on. Thought there's no chance anyone's going to know anything here. Grabbed some Paracetamol or whatever, and went to Boots, and she was putting it through. She was like, "How was the wedding, love?" I was like, "It was nice." I love the dress. I was like, "Oh, thank you." Yeah. It's weird, you know. It's nice though.
Okay, last question before you go. So when you wake up in the middle of the night and you have those great ideas and you wake each other up to chat about them, can you give us a selection of those ideas?
Well, we're working currently on the Dr. K Academy. So we're setting up an academy, me and Martin, to do sort of aesthetics training, aren't we?
Yeah. But from a business perspective as well.
Yeah. So exactly like Martin said, I think there's a lot at the moment. There are so many people and so many training schools now, and they focus mainly on sort of actual clinical skill, which is obviously something very important that you've got to teach. But we're coming at it at a slightly different angle, in that we're going to be talking about social media. We're going to be talking about how to differentiate yourself amongst against other people, marketing, branding, advertising. So we're really going to go at it at that
we're going to combine both elements really,
and
it would be more for people, for example, who've been on a course and learned the basics, but really struggling to actually get it to the next step, because there doesn't seem to be anything out there really for much to help people with that. And what there is a lot of courses, you know, doing more advanced injectable procedures. But at the end of the day, if you actually were to break down our practices, 70-80% of what we do is still quite on the basic stuff. So by having that training, it's utilizing what you've got and developing it into a budding practice. And I think there's a bit of that we've identified that for us as a piece that's possibly is missing, and it's something that we think we'd be really good at helping people with that.
Exactly. So that's our thing. That's our main thing. And then we've got a couple of other little things up our sleeve. We're doing a lot of sort of, you know, you're big on your evidence-based nutrition and supplementation and stuff like that. And actually, before coronavirus hit, I was going to launch my. We were
going to launch.
Yeah. I was going to say on the show. But we were going to do our own sort of dental range. So whitening I mean, I get asked all the time in clinic about whitening toothpaste, whitening strips, and things like that. So we thought it'd be a great idea to launch our own, which was actually going to be featured in the show, which is annoying because of obviously Corona, but it will be on the next series.
Have you got a name?
It's called Icy Bear.
Very nice. So guys, I think it's been absolutely a joy meeting you, and I haven't met you before, but you seem like a lovely person. I'm glad you made Martin so happy.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely to meet you both as well.
Well, Adrian just wanted to talk to me about
Yeah,
Tocks.
I know.
All those years ago, yeah.
Really, guys, good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Good luck
your
with
weekend.
Oh, you too.
Yes, have a good weekend.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.